breaking news today.
Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
Breaks loose at WH after Trump learns what Twitter execs just did to him. The liberal machine in Silicon Valley has never been known for their affection toward President Trump. During the 2016 presidential election, former Google executive Stephanie Hannon served as Hillary Clinton's chief technical officer, and the Clinton campaign leveraged the liberal bias in Silicon Valley to present the perception that then-candidate Trump was losing in all the polls while at the same time burying the various online sources of information regarding the various scandals Hillary Clinton had been involved in over the years. However, the tag-team effort of the liberals in Silicon Valley and the Clinton war machine failed. Now that President Trump is in office, liberals and the political establishment have been incessant with their efforts to remove a democratically elected president. Now it has been revealed by Project Veritas that Twitter is willing to violate their users' privacy policy in a lame attempt to bring down President Trump. In the video which Project Veritas has released, Twitter senior engineer Clay Haynes can be heard making comments that Twitter is willing and eager to hand over President Trump's private Twitter messages to the Justice Department. Mr. Haynes goes on to describe that Twitter engineers seemingly have the ability to read a user's private messages, even after they have been deleted, saying that the social media giant has access to every single person's account, every single direct message, deleted direct messages, deleted tweets. Mr. Haynes goes on to declare in the video released by Project Veritas that Twitter can see exactly who logged in from where, with what username and password, when they change their password. On January 3, 2018, Mr. Haynes met with an undercover journalist from Project Veritas at the Stookies Club Moderne in San Francisco, California. In the video, Mr. Haynes can clearly be heard saying, "We're more than happy to help the DOJ with their little investigation," referring to President Trump and Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Even more disturbing, Mr. Haynes goes on to detail how Twitter employees have collaborated against President Trump, while revealing his own bias by saying, "He's dangerous, I don't like him, and he's a terrible human being and I want to get rid of him." In fact, we had internal reviews about that. Once James O'Keefe, the head of Project Veritas, saw the footage, his undercover journalist gathered information regarding Mr. Haynes' comments about President Trump's personal messages. James O'Keefe met with Mr. Haynes on January 7, 2018, at Morton's Steakhouse in San Francisco. Mr. O'Keefe wanted to confirm if Twitter was actively working with the DOJ or if Twitter was willingly violating the president's privacy without the presence of a subpoena. Mr. O'Keefe asked Mr. Haynes about Twitter currently working with the DOJ, to which Mr. Haynes replied, "We have a subpoena process for that very reason." As the conversation continues, James O'Keefe, "Are you working with DOJ currently on that?" Clay Haynes, "I can't comment. Even if I knew, I wouldn't comment." The tone of the conversation turned to reveal that perhaps Mr. Haynes suspected something was not right, and that he might be eating dinner with folks who were not who they said they were. His tone and comments in the first meeting with Project Veritas versus the second meeting are clearly different in tone and demeanor. It would seem that the principles of free speech and privacy of Twitter users only applies to those on the left. Back in April of this year, the Department of Homeland Security sent Twitter an order to reveal details about a Twitter user who was opposed to President Trump's immigration policies. DHS did not comment specifically on their motives behind their demand, but it could have had something to do with various Twitter users stealing names and logos from U.S. government agencies. Twitter sued DHS and released a statement saying, "The rights of free speech afforded Twitter's users and Twitter itself under the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution include a right to disseminate such anonymous or pseudonymous political speech." Since the release of the video by Project Veritas, neither Twitter or President Trump have commented on the matter. If President Trump's private Twitter messages had contained anything incriminating, it is likely that this information would have already been leaked to the mainstream